Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about the dreaded taxes. So, let me see. Deadline April, sometime in April. I always get someone to prepare my taxes for me, which I recommend doing that. But this is some information just in case you want to do it yourself, but also you should be more knowledgeable about the process, even if you're going to hire somebody else, because you want to make sure they're doing it right. You want to be able to provide them with the correct information and also review what they do. For me, even though I use someone else to do my taxes for me, I always keep records of my expenses, my revenue, my money, everything, my sales. So I do everything detailed. So I do my expenses detailed in Excel. I do my expenses and my revenue all in Excel, but I also break it down to sales. So I don't say, oh, okay, 20, what's the, oh Lord, I almost forgot the year. Okay, so for 2021, I won't say my expenses are $5,000 and my revenue is $10,000. I'll do that, but I also will break down, okay, I bought this pen. I bought this ink for my printer, for my business. It was such and such amount. I got new checks or something like that. So break down, itemize. There you go. That's the word I'm using. Itemize each thing. That way, when you send it to your tax professional or when you do it yourself, it makes it so much easier. It really does. I've been doing my own taxes. Well, I've been hiring somebody for my taxes for a while now. So this video is for authors. So this also can help out with independent writers who do like freelance writing. If you like ghost writing or blog writing, that type of stuff. So for me as the author, focusing on just me as author right now, I hear some interruptions coming, dogs and everybody. I gotta find a new office. Part of my taxes. So I'm doing a video. So as an author, I do. Is that finished?
Oh, okay.
Okay, where was I? I don't edit my videos, so I'm not doing this all over again. All right. Taxes. This threw me off. I can't do no TV show. I'll be completely thrown off. So let me bring my notes so that way I can try to remember stuff. Let's see. Key thing. I do my taxes through my publishing company. So I, as a author, do not do taxes. My company does the taxes for me because I have my own I have my own publishing company. So what I mean by that is if I buy more checkbooks, for example, the checkbooks are the company. I am the company. So everything I do is related to the company. So I file my taxes through my company, my business. And if you are a self-published author, you are a business. So I'm going to go over as much as I possibly can because I don't want to jump into anything that I'm not very knowledgeable about. So certain things you will have to do more research on your own. I will only talk about things that I have personal experience with. So in the beginning, before I started my publishing company, I self-published, just directly self-published through KDP, Amazon. I also did Barnes & Noble, and I think at the time I was on Ingram Spark before I started the publishing company. I'm trying to think. I think I did. But in that beginning stage, I did the same thing. I itemized everything, but I didn't do my taxes through the company. I did my taxes as just myself, as an independent, not independent contractor, but as a self-employed person. So I had to file everything. I had to collect taxes, which, let's do that first. We're going to talk about that before anything else, before I keep going. You must, authors, please, you must collect taxes on the books that you sell. Okay? Example, for me, I'm in Washington, D.C. So when I sell one of my novels, if I sell one of my novels and it's $12, sell the book to the person directly, direct sales. So if I'm going to a book signing at a mall, anywhere, and I sell directly from author to reader, purchaser, okay, here's books, $12, but I must collect taxes. So if it's $12, it's going to be, added tax will be 6 cents. So I believe, let me see, I have to collect in DC. I'm only going to do DC because different states have different rules. I'm not positive. Just Google what your state taxes, sales taxes. But as a DC resident, I have to collect 6% taxes. Okay, so 6 cents. So the $12 book will now be $12.06. Get it? And then I always say, if you deliver, you add more money to it. Please cover your delivery. I know a lot of people, when they start off, it's hard to charge for certain things because you think, oh, if I charge too much, they're not going to buy it. But you want to cover your costs. Please understand that. Cover your costs. Sometimes, depending on the situation in the site, I would have even covered the fees on the website. So Ingram Spark Brutal has brutal fees. They have the if you order a certain amount of books on your Ingram it's very high. The delivery fee is very high. Sometimes I'll calculate that delivery fee into my sales price because I don't want to cover it. But I don't always do that. Sometimes you need to. Sometimes it's like, okay, y'all, this is getting too much. Especially when someone doesn't want to order from your website, your website or another website, and it's like one book, but then the daggone delivery fee is almost, especially if it's expedite, you want to get it very quickly, $5 something, $7, it can be outrageous. The packing fees and then shipping fees and it's a lot of fees if you use Ingram Spark. One of the negatives about the site, but I digress. Move on. Focusing on taxes. Collect your taxes when you make a sale. When you make a sale, you have to collect taxes. Okay? Authors, please collect your taxes. And I'm in DC, so I collect 6% tax. And that might be something else you might think of covering. But don't cover it, because you might think, oh, well, I'm just covering for this one time. one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. But then you get to the point where you say, oh my gosh, this is adding up. This money is adding up. And not only is it adding up, you got to remember, that you have to cover it. So you have to pay the IRS that 6%. You have to pay that back. So do not say you want to cover it and then don't even have any record. You know, you made 10 sales one day and you're saying you're going to cover that 6%. Let me do my math because I suck at math. Now I'm on the topic. Let me see how much that was. See, 6 cents in my DC case, and I sell maybe for the whole month. Maybe for the whole month I sell 100 copies. Let's see how much that is. Okay, it's not that much. I was thinking it would be more. That's why I tell you I don't know math. How much is that? I think it's $6. It adds up though. I'm just telling y'all, it still adds up because you're going to get to the point where you're selling more and more and more and more. Okay, we want to focus on the future. Don't just say, I ain't gonna sell that much. No, think that you're going to be selling thousands and thousands. I want that for you. I want that for myself. We're going to sell thousands of dollars, y'all. Okay, thousands. We gonna sell a whole lot. But when you do the fees, if you're not going to take my advice and you're going to cover the sales tax, you have to make sure you're putting that money aside. So you have to make sure that you are itemizing each book sale for if you do a book signing or pop up a vendor. If you do anything like that, it might be a little easier for you to say, okay, receipt book, this is all my copies. Let me scan them onto the computer. Let me write them down. And let me say, okay, I'm going to put this money aside. So when I do my taxes at the end of the year, I'll know this is how much money I have to report. And this is how much money I probably will owe. You want to make sure you're doing that. Because then the fees, the IRS fees for not doing what you're supposed to do are a lot of money. It's a lot. So don't cover it. Put the fee down. If your book is $12, $5, $5.99, whatever, add on your sales tax to the book when you're selling it, please. Direct sale. So if you're selling from your website, that's direct sale from you to the purchaser. Make sure on your website there's an area for taxes and delivery fee. And taxes, let me see. I'm not going to click on that. But do that because whether you're online, whether you're doing your website, whether you're doing a little pop-up store, whether you're in person, make sure you are collecting taxes on your book sale. So you don't even have to say, oh, okay, this is the book is $12, but I'm charging you the extra 60 cents, you know. So they'll know when they see, well, actually some of y'all don't put the prices on the back of the book. I don't know why. But I've seen that a lot of times that prices aren't on the back of the book, so people actually sometimes might not know if they're doing direct sale purchase. Online, they do get the breakdown, so it is better that way. But what I found could be easy if you do like a little small little postcard, do a little nice printout. You know, if your writing's that good, go ahead and write it out. But just do a little nice printout. That way you don't have to stop everybody and talk to them, and it's just quicker that way. If you're going to do book signings or different things, have that little tiny card on your little table that gives the price breakdown, if you like. Let me see what else. Also, when you are doing direct to direct sales, make sure you have a receipt book. I know a lot of people, you all might not get with the program with me, but it helps when you are doing your taxes. Okay, it really helps when you have a record, and that always, you know, my little trusty notepad. I love my notepad. You can write down for your own personal benefit in your notes if you want, but I always have a receipt book. And you might say, well, what we need a receipt book? We need that paper, that old-fashioned way for. We have these gadgets now on our phones, and we have, you know, Zelle, and we have Cash App, and we have PayPal, and we have all this stuff. PayPal, though, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that too. Go step by step. You can use those things, but I'm telling you from experience that a lot of my sales came from cash. Okay? A lot of my sales, when I'm face-to-face with people, come from cash. It don't come from card. And I have a machine from the bank. I have a, you know, the little card swipe. Forget what they're called. But I have one of those. And when you have one of those, it automatically emails the customer and yourself a receipt. And you have things. You have your record. That's fine. But do not underestimate your customers. Do not think that they are only going to pay by card. Some of them won't. Some of them will actually have cash. And you need to be prepared for those customers who have cash and have your receipt book, please. And when you have your receipt book, also have your change. Okay, I have a lockbox that I bring with me to every book sign, everything I have where I'm going to be thinking I'm going to sell a book. I have my lockbox with the change, regular coins, and also cash. Okay, that's another thing. We'll talk about that when we talk about how to prepare for book signings, etc. But a little tidbit: please have a lockbox too. And then hold on, just popped in my head. Some of y'all, hopefully you won't say it, but some of y'all who say, "Well, I'm just not going to accept cash." Don't be that person that says, I'm only going to force my customers to pay one way. They only got to pay by Cash App, or they only going to pay by PayPal. Don't be that person. Or they going to only pay by my little card reader. Don't be that person, please. Because sometimes, especially during events, people already a lot of times have things planned out. And they don't want to use their card because they say, oh, I got this cash ready. I'm one of those people sometimes. I have money set aside and I don't want to start swiping. And then when I start swiping, I get away from how much I already planned on selling. Sometimes people just want to use their cash. And a lot of times, for whatever reason, that's their prerogative, and you have to be prepared for that because sometimes you can lose a sale, and you don't want to lose a sale. Every sale matters because you might say, oh, well, 50 people use their card, but then that one person said, no, they only want to use cash, and they walked away. That one person could have been a person that will actually write a review, or a person that will come back and buy more of your books, or will spread the word and tell other people how good the book is and tell them to go buy the book. Or they might end up being a customer who gives you a bad review and tells everyone, oh, how unprofessional this author was and didn't accept my cash. Who doesn't accept cash? Who does not accept cash? You should have cash, and you should be ready to make change. If they give you a $20 bill and your book is only $12 or $6, whatever, you should be able to have change. You got to go to the bank, get your change. I'm starting to rant. Let me stay focused. But please don't be that person. So have your receipt book. You can go to like Staples or Office Depot or anywhere. You can easily, or your online shopper people, you can go online as well to those stores or another store and buy a receipt. buy a receipt book and just, detail it out. Some of these print companies, they'll even do a specialized receipt book with your company name or your name and your info. You can have your author website on there too. So please have a receipt book, okay? Because some people might pay cash, and you need to keep account of who did what sale did you make, who was it. It might help you to accumulate a list of future customers. So it's just beneficial all around. Having a receipt book will help you to not lose a customer because they only want to pay in cash. It'll help you maintain your sales, your revenue for your tax time for filling out your information. And it will also help you to create a contact list of customers. So if you were only selling paperbacks at the time, but then a few months later you release your hardback, and you might contact them and say, give them a little email or however you want to contact them. That's on the receipt book. On the receipt book, I make sure I have emails. So I contact them, and you could just say, because you bought the paperback, you are qualified for a little percentage off of the hardback. So you can always do that. You can always add them if you have a newsletter. Excuse me. If you have a newsletter, you can just attach their email to that. So it's beneficial. What else about taxes? How to say about itemizing taxes. Okay, so that's about doing direct-to-direct sales. So let's talk about, moving on, let's talk about the things that you also should keep itemized list of. Because I mentioned earlier about the checkbooks. Hopefully, I'm not that old for my viewers, and you all know what the heck a checkbook is. It won't make any sense if you don't. I'll be very confused. Please know what a checkbook is. Don't let me feel that old. Trying to scroll back to one of the pages I had for my notes. So this is a great list from TurboTax. I actually most of all of this I already know and do. So when you are going to your meet with your agent, or if you are going to book signings, calculate your mileage. You can count your mileage. If you are going to a business meeting, you can count that as well as your expenses. You can count software on your computer. Microsoft Office, expensive, especially if you get the whole package. If you have Microsoft Office, count that. It's an expense. Count that. Your computer, your laptop, your desktop. I bought a new what is this? HP. I bought a new HP desktop for my business, for one of the employers I had at the time, because I needed an office computer. I didn't want them using my computer. That's just, it causes too much chaos when I need to do something. They need to do something anyway. So I bought a whole new office stuff. So I bought the new HP desktop. I bought a new HP printer. The damn thing is so huge. I don't know why I bought this daggone thing. Sometimes we can get a little overly excited. I don't even know how to use most of the features on this thing. I really don't. But I know it's going to come in handy. At some point, I'm going to either hire somebody who knows how to do all that stuff, and they're going to make full use of it. Or maybe one day I'll learn. But for now, it's working very excellent. It is working really good for the basic stuff that I do need it for. But I listed that. I listed the printer. I listed the computer. I only use this stuff for business. Any personal use, I use like for my laptop. I mix my laptop sometimes for personal use. And also your internet bill. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can put down for your expenses. So internet, your office supplies, computers, laptops, my mic, and my webcam stuff, and that thing that's blinding me, your light. Get what it's technically called. Oh, and then my big ass bookcase. I bought this for my office. My desk that cost me a fortune. I was buying stuff. Anyway, but those are the things that you need to list for your expenses. I also phone bill. If you have some of y'all probably don't have a house phone. I saw this video, I think it was TikTok, where a lot of the employees somewhere, they were confused. They heard like the dial tone, but they couldn't figure out what it was, what the noise was. I was like, wait a minute, y'all don't know what a dial tone is? It's the phone off the hook. Sometimes I'm only 31. Why? Anyway, so house phone, beneficial if you have an office phone. I think Verizon or Fire, I don't know if that's an add-on or if it's probably an add-on. But I think it was like $25 a month. Not expensive. Get a house phone so you can use the fax machine. You can also have a business line, because you don't always want to have your cell phone. You giving your cell phone number out to people. You giving your number out to businesses. And if you put your number on like a newsletter or anywhere else, it's nice to kind of get a feel of just separation, business from personal. So I really recommend it. I know it ain't about taxes, but a little sprinkle of info. I recommend having an office phone / house phone, wherever you are. If you, like me, are using the basement as a office, have a phone line. Use that as it. Put that as one of your expenses, so you can write that off. Something that you can write off. So, sorry, I'm looking a little confused, because now I'm thinking, how do people use the fax machine if they don't have a house phone? And the answer is probably going to make me feel real stupid. I don't know the answer. How a lot of people say they don't have a house phone. How do you use the fax machine? How do y'all use a fax machine without a house phone? I'm confused. And I might be really showing my age. I don't know. Anyway, but do that. I also cell phone. If you are using your cell phone, I think 80% of the time, or some high number of the percentage of your phone usage, you can add that to expense. My cell phone, I use as I pay through my business. I don't well, the money still personally. My business pays for my cell phone. That's something that goes through the business, because as CEO, as the person, I only and because my office is in the basement, there's nowhere. That's an expense I'm not going to pay for. But I use my cell phone regularly. If you look on the information for the business and different stuff, I use my cell phone temporarily. I'm going to separate it soon. But I use my cell phone pretty much 100% for all of the business stuff because I don't have the separation yet. But that's an expense. So put that down. What else we got to talk about with expenses and things that you could potentially write off? I think we talked about pretty much everything. They also, depending on your situation, you could potentially also, you'll probably won't be able to do it yourself. Probably gonna have to hire somebody or have somebody review your paperwork. But you can also do some utilities, your house utilities, and things of that nature. So I'll be careful of that. And you also can use your home office as a write-off as well. So based on like square footage, I have that information. I guess I could put the link underneath the video, but read it really good. And also, I have other people do that stuff for me just because I'm always scared to piss off. I do not want to get bad with the IRS, so I always have stuff. Let me see. Home office deduction. Yeah, I have the paper. I said paper. I have the link. So I will put that down. Car repairs, office supplies. Trying to read everything I did for 2020. Office supplies, company ads and promotions. Let me see what else I do. Bank merchant account fees. I did that. Intern paid salary. That's not for author. That's for the business. Again, I'm going to be mixing again for those who might be remind you guys I'm an author, but I have my own publishing company, so taxes go through. I'm paying taxes through my publishing company. But I was trying to talk initially about my time as a self-published author before I had my own company. Computer and programs, I already told you all about that. Definitely, the money. Those are large expenses. Please put those down. Phone bill, email service. Oh yeah, my email. If you have a business email, put that down. That can add up. That added up pretty good money. And then I just added all of my other business expenses. The company website. In you guys' case, if you have an author website, put that down. All right, let me exit out there. So yeah, so do that, and then what else we gotta talk about as a author, not just as a publishing company? We talked about what you should do with keeping track of your taxes. We talked about listing things as your expenses, trying to do different write-offs, deductions. Let me see. I believe it's 15% of your total square footage of your home. You can deduct, and then what's this say? If your dedicated workspace takes up 15% of the total square footage of your home, you can deduct 15% of your mortgage, principal, or rent payments, utilities, and insurance. There you go. But if that's pretty much no. But if your habit to work at the kitchen table, you're out of luck because you use that room for other things other than your writing. Your home office must be a dedicated exclusively to your writing. Okay, anyway. So, like I said, the basement. Even though there's a laundry room, I don't count the room. It's closed off. The wall, there's a wall and a door towards the laundry room. I don't count that square footage. But I use the basement. The basement is my domain. I use the basement for office stuff solely. I have my bookcase, and then over here I have all my supplies. I have my tripods. I have everything. I'm not going to try to scan the room, but the whole office is my domain, my work office, and I can count that because I use it's a dedicated space for writing. And then this doesn't. Yeah, see, that's why I'm not talking about health insurance deduction because that doesn't apply to me. I don't have personal experience with it. I told you guys in the beginning, I'm only going to talk about things that I have personal experience with. And that is not something I do because I've always had either like, what is it, Obamacare, Medicaid, or now I have another business, not business, I have another, I'm employed and I get insurance through my employer. So I don't do it, I don't pay for my own insurance. Self-employment tax, when you work for somebody else, your employer pays half of your Social Security and Medicare taxes. But when you're employed, you must pay these taxes yourself. Again, I'm not self-employed, so this stuff, don't believe I'm going to talk about, but please look at it. Go to TurboTax, easy information. And then if you earn royalties, that we will talk about. Let me put pause for a second. I had to do a little reading. All right, so we talked about all that stuff. Then let's talk about earning royalties. This did not apply directly to me because as a small business owner, I just keep the money, keep it flowing back to the company. But I always make sure to do an accounting to make sure I am prepared for when I have other people sign on. I already am in the habit of doing that process of all that accounting, So let's talk about royalties. Your income, some people know that a lot of the rules change. In the beginning of this year, January, things have changed. So a lot of things, freelancers, you have to account for. So if you freelance writing for someone, a lot of times you'll be going through a site and they'll give you your forms for you. So if you're using Fiverr or Upwork, is it Upwork? Or ReadEasy, I believe ReadEasy does it, should as well. They will give you a tax form end to end. KDP does it. Barnes & Noble should as well. These sites already know. iBooks, iTunes, whatever. They already know to give you certain forms during tax time. Make sure if you have not gotten an email about it, go to your account. It should be there. Just print it out or just write it down. I always print things out or find a way to save it onto my computer. So, royalties. KDP, you get royalties. We'll say KDP, that's easier. You get your royalties and you have to file your taxes. You have to let the government know how much you're making, what you receive. They want to know every money transaction. They want to know everything. So file it. Okay, let me see if I can do. Let me go to KDP. I filed them. Oh, well, yeah, no, that's okay. That's something else. But if you're if you have your money, let me see, it's a 1099 something. Let me see. Keep track of, you should not receive one from the company published with, blah, 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 blah. You're listed on your Schedule C. Where am I going? Sorry. No, that's not royalties. I'll click off of that for a second. Go to KDP. Go to my reports. Because it is tax time, so I should be able to just go ahead and look at it. Taxes. This is probably just under marketing. Your account. Put my password in. Hold on, y'all. Oh, putting the wrong password. Come on. Hurry up. End up being a long video once again. Oh, come on. You gonna send me a code? Better not mess up my video. Let me see the code pop up. I'm just doing this just in case. Some of y'all might have already seen it. Okay. Oh, no, come back. Wait a minute. Hold on. Trying to get the code. Oh. Okay, 0. Okay, hopefully this didn't cut us off. Okay, we still on. All right. When I go to my account, on the left side, I click tax information. View provide tax information. No, gosh, I don't want that one. Yes, I know I already completed the tax information. I want to know my tax filings for the let me see, view. No, find tax forms. Okay, there we go. So let me go back. I clicked on okay, tax information, and then under tax information, click view / provide tax information, and then go down, scroll down, and click find forms. Okay, and then you'll say find forms, and then for me, I only have my previous forms, 2019 and 2020, because I was a self-author at that time, self-published author at the time. But when I switched over to having my own publishing company, KDP no longer provides me with this form, the 1099 MISC, miscellaneous. They don't provide that form anymore. But I'm going to click on the 2020. You can always, this is a great thing, a lot of these companies already do, is provide you with the forms. So you won't have to fill it out. Well, you're not supposed to fill it out yourself anyway. They're supposed to give you the information, and then you file it yourself. So let me see. Ooh, that was a low amount of money. We ain't going to speak about how much that was. But the price, if you scroll all the way down to the form, it'll tell you your royalties. Oh, okay, 2019 was good. 2019 was good. Okay, that made me feel better. 2020 was. So that's how you find out your tax information on KDP. And you always want to make sure that you are filing your taxes, your royalties, excuse me. We're focusing on royalties right now. You have to account for your royalties. Even if it's not an impressive number, put it down, and make sure you're adding it all up. If you do the KDP, if you do the Ingram Spark, if you're doing Barnes & Nobles, if you're doing iBooks, Apple. And also directly from a publisher if you have one. So if you have a publisher, they have to give you a form as well. They should be giving you a form. Especially depending on let's say what is that? Believe it's a 1099 NEC form they should be giving you. I believe that's it. So you definitely want to get that money down. Okay, so your royalties, you have to write down. And this is an easy thing that you can do, because I know a lot of publishers, or almost everything is like end of year. So itemize. Again, I'm using Excel. You can use something else. Itemize your stuff, or just use a dedicated notebook, and you're going to put it somewhere in one place only. You're going to put it in your drawer. If I have a desk, so if you have a desk, put it in your drawer. Itemize your royalties, your revenue, your expenses, everything, please. Itemize everything, because when taxes come around, it's so hard to remember what sale you made in last January, what depending on your advances and your royalties, it might be even hard. Maybe also, maybe not just for taxes, but to make sure your publisher is giving you all your money. I don't personally have experience with it as an author, but I would think you want to itemize, get a detailed itemized list of things to make sure that you didn't sell 10,000 books, but your publisher is only saying you sold 9,500 books. Make sure you're getting all your coin, people. Getting all your coin. Okay, so moving on from royalties, because that was pretty simple. You also, for those who are not authors, or those who are authors, you might do freelance on the side too. If you are doing ghostwriting services, or if you are doing a blog service, if you are doing anything, and you let me see how much. Look at this site. Okay, 600 or more in the year. Okay, so 600. Had to get my facts right. So this definitely applied to ghostwriters. You definitely should be getting more than $600. If you do more than $600, they have to. The person needs to give you a 1099 NEC, just like your publisher, for your royalties. You need that form, okay? And as a publisher, I will give that form out. If I'm if I hire a ghostwriter, or if I hire a I think also an editor, if I hire let me see, does that also count, like if I do an artist, book cover artist? For services you provide to a client as an independent contractor, and the annual payments you receive total 400 or more, you will need to file your taxes a little differently than a taxpayer who only receives regular employment income reported on a W-2. Okay. So, independent contractor. So, it's anybody. So, if you receive, if you do a service for somebody as an independent contractor, you're not their employee, and you made $600 or more, or you receive payments in total of $400 or more, you have to get this form, this 1099 NEC, from that person that you did the service for. So remember that. Ask the person for that form. And this is all for 2022. So I don't believe, from what I'm reading, you all double check for yourself. From what I'm reading, this is not for when you're filing your 2021 taxes. From what I'm reading. But again, I have somebody do mine. So if this form applies to you, make sure you're Googling to make sure if it counts for last year or this year. I believe it's this year, but it might also be last year. I think it's last year as well. So, freelancers, independent contractors, you are a freelancer, make sure the person is giving you a 1099 NEC form so you can fill out your taxes. Okay? Remember that. Google it. Get more information for yourself. And ask them for it. I know with Fiverr, let me see. I believe Fiverr as well, they have a tax thing. They give you a tax a form. I believe they do. Let me see. Billing. No, I don't want billing. Let me just Google. Does Fiverr provide tax documents? I'm just going to do it that way. It will send a 1099 form at the end of the year to applicable tax authorities. Currently, this applies to U.S.-based sellers who earn at least $20,000 in that year and had at least 200 separate orders. This might be a little old because I think it should. It might be a little old because based on the new laws, I think it's less than that. So Fiverr will give you a form. So you don't have to, email them. You don't have to email them like, hey, where's my form? And especially don't, if you are, if someone orders something through Fiverr or Upwork or wherever, and it's, the $600 or more, you don't email that person and ask them for the form because you're using the third party site. So you don't go directly to the person who is using the site and ask them for that form. The form will come from the site itself. Okay? So don't worry about trying to track down all these different people. The site will give you a form. Let me see. And again, this is very easy if you just use somebody. You just let somebody else file for you. So when you are doing this stuff, make sure you are calculating all of your different freelance sites. So get your forms from Fiverr, Upwork, everything. Get all your forms together. Excuse me. Okay, so that's Fiverr. Let me exit out this. So they do, they give it to you. Education and training related to your industry. Oh. Fiverr taxable deductible expenses. I didn't even think about education, but that makes sense. Paying a babysitter while you work. I don't know about that, but maybe it might be. Okay. Okay. So let me get off of that. So just wanted to make sure it was correct. So this form is for if you are, I guess, working directly with somebody. A lot of people have their own personal website. Freelancers have their own website. If you talk to them directly and they paid you $600 or more, send them a request and ask them for the form. Okay? I know a lot of these new changes, it can be awkward, but do it. Okay, just keep your own self safe. They might not be aware of it, but ask for it. And it's also beneficial if you can send them the link to the information to the TurboTax site or the IRS site, and back up what you're asking for. And hopefully they'll send it to you. And if not, still account it on your forms and also screenshot or somehow save that you did ask for, and it was just in case there's an issue. And what else? Not just those who requested. For people like me who are using have a business who are using independent contractors, make sure you send that form out, okay? Don't be that person to say, oh, well, that person didn't, hasn't emailed me. They haven't requested. Oh, that means I got to go back and look at each client I had. I got to look at all this stuff, and I got to try to contact these people. Yes. Don't get the high fees from the IRS. Don't make the IRS mad, because you not wanting to do the work will, they'll slap you with high fees, $200, $300, even more money. I think even per transaction. So don't do it. Just send that form out and let them know, look, this is the law. I have to send you this form. I filled it out. When I do my taxes, I'm going to put it down, so you better go do it yourself. So backtrack, protect yourself. What else do we need to talk about? We talked about royalties just now. Then we talked about the proper paperwork to file, what forms. What else do we need to talk about? We already talked about you. What else? I'll exit out that. What time? How I get here? I don't want to hear about your. Who are you? How did I end up clicking on you? 600 cash. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. And then for those, again, about those who are paying someone $600 or more for this independent contractors or freelancers, whatever word you want to use. And this is if you paid them by like check or cash, then you issue them the 1099 MISC, just like KDP does. But then if you use like PayPal to pay them, or what is it, PayPal, or what's that other stuff, Zelle and other things, I believe it is a 1099K, but I'm also gonna I'll be putting these links in there. That way you all can also do the research. But don't forget the form 1099 NEC. I believe that's to the independent contractors. Okay. So let me exit out here. All right, what else do we need to talk about very quickly to wrap it up about your taxes? We talked about from a self-publishing author standpoint. We also talked about a little bit as an independent publisher. And we also talked about you freelancers and independent contractors. I believe we covered everything. Looking at my notes real quick. Oh, then basic. I forgot my little notes here. Help me out. You'll have to remember how you're going to file if you're LLC, if you're S Corp, C Corp, how you file. Normally, if you're self-published, if you don't have a publishing company, you're going to do, I believe it's the SSS. That's how you're going to file, okay? For me, I have an LLC, so I file that way. I have different filing requirements, and that's just probably a whole nother video. It's a whole nother video. But talk with somebody, okay? Do your research on IRS, government site, TurboTax, sites that you can trust, and get more information. But definitely file your taxes. Don't just ignore them. File your taxes. Okay? Most times, I know me, I never owed the government any money because I ain't making no money. So you don't have to worry about, oh, but then I'm gonna owe money. You're not gonna really owe any money. Well, depending on how much money you're making. maybe you making a whole lot of money. But file your taxes properly, and don't be afraid to hire somebody to do it for you. Okay?